and it would be really thrilling if it didn't matter about someone's sexuality to take on a role like this.
Hi Ben, how are you?
Hey, Will, I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Attitude today about the release of
Pleasure.
To Die. Now, tell me, obviously, this film has been a long time coming now with so many pandemic-related delays. How does it feel to be, right on the precipice of it being released to the world finally?
It feels really good. I still can't quite believe it's going to happen, but it would take something pretty extraordinary to stop it now, I guess. No, I'm thrilled that people are going to see it. And I'm really thrilled that people are going to be able to see it in a cinema.
Now, obviously, as you'd expect from a spy film, plot details are being kept tightly under wraps. But what can you tell us, about where Q finds himself during this latest outing, and what's in store for this? What's your third Bond film now?
I think that what I like is that it's quite a personal film for Bond, and that it resolves several strands that have been running from previous Daniel Craig Bond films and ties them all together. I hope in a really satisfying way, and part of that is Q's relationship with Bond, and I don't want to say too much more.
And of course, the Daniel Craig era of Bond really seems to have been characterized by bringing this franchise into the 21st century, and how this old school spy has been adapting with a changing world around him. And obviously, your sort of more youthful take on Q has been a part of that. And obviously, in No Time to Die, we have Lashana Lynch as the sort of first black female 00 agent. Sort of how important is it sort of to you as an actor involved in a franchise like this that it does reflect the world around us as it is today?
I think it's really important because whilst these films are essentially fantastical, I mean, you don't go to a Bond film for real life. It's, it's spectacle and it's adrenaline and it's escapism, really, I think. I do at the same time believe that there has to be it has to be connected to the real world somehow or other. And I think that the reason probably it's survived this long is because it has always changed with the time. And all of the films, if you look back at them, do, which I think is part of the joy of it, do reflect the period that they were made in the look and the fashion, but also in the politics to some degree. And I think that's definitely true of this one. And I feel proud of that. And I am excited to see going forward what will happen next, how it will evolve, given what's happened in the world in the 2 years since we made this one. I think it's very exciting, and it's the only way that it will survive. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as Attitude, we're an LGBTQ publication, and this is obviously Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond after a really successful tenure in the role. And naturally, there's been lots of discussion and speculation about who should be, taking on that role next, or possibly even how the character of Bond could change or evolve, in the coming years. Given the ongoing issues that, we have about sort of out gay actors securing sort of high profile, straight action hero roles, sort of, how would you like to see an out gay British actor be sort of taking on the 007 mantle in the future? What that might say, to the wider industry.
God, can you imagine? I mean, it would be quite an extraordinary thing. Of course, I would like to see that. I think that I really believe that we should be working towards a world where anyone can play anything, and it would be really thrilling if it didn't matter about someone's sexuality to take on a role like this. I think that would be real progress. But we'll see where we're at. I'm amazed by how much has changed just in the last 5 or 6 years, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And, is there anyone that would be of that ilk that might be, top of your list for the part who you potentially would want to see in that role?
There aren't many out gay British actors. It's quite hard to say, isn't it?
A Luke Evans or a Jonathan Bailey or someone of that ilk, someone that's...
Yeah, I mean, they're both wonderful. They're both wonderful actors. I wonder, I think it's not only, God, it's also hard to talk about this stuff. They're both actors who it seems would be really capable of doing it and would be ideal casting, and it would be thrilling to see either of them do it. I wonder if either of them would want to. I mean, because it's not just like the demands of the role, but it's like the demands of being Bond in the world and what it symbolizes and how it would change your life. Is
it a role that you would have taken yourself, years ago, had the opportunity presented itself?
No, I don't think it would. I think it was obvious to me that I am not Bond material, and I'm happily not so. Like, I'm happy as Q.
I don't know
suits
about that.
me.
You've got all the gadgets, you've got all the skills.
Oh, you're very sweet, but I don't think I am, and I think that's cool. I think it's important that there are a range of masculine or male identities, that we don't all have to be the Bond type, Having said that, maybe Bond is becoming more receptive now to being defined in a different way. But I don't know how far you can take it away from its... I don't know how far you can stretch it from its original identity as the kind of womanizing character that he is, and everything else that he is. Anyway, it would be. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, we're very much looking forward to seeing, everything that pans out in No Time to Die, and of course, seeing you, Ben Whishaw, reprising a role as Q. So,
thank you.
Thank you so much again for your time today.
My pleasure. Really nice to talk to you. Thank you.
Great.